Alright, welcome to this Let's Play, or more like an overview, kind of a hype video, because I wanted to do this video because a friend, a gentleman, a great all-around game designer I've known in the past via internet message boards and communication and blogs, has designed an entire game and put it on Nintendo Switch. So here you're seeing the first title screens from Membrane, exclusive to Nintendo Switch from what I know as of now. And just let you see the controls there. They're very simple. There's basically jump and shoot. Here I'm just taking a look at the bonus material, which I haven't unlocked yet. As you can see, there's a catapult bonus game. I think these are just kind of like silly bonus games. And here we're back at the title screen. I tried to keep things moving in this video so that you won't get bored. What you're seeing here are 3 different worlds in the game. I've already completed Brain at 14 out of 14 spheres or glowing orbs or whatever they are in Brain. I've already completed Ear. I have 20 out of 20 in that section. So we're going to be jumping straight ahead to like level 3, which is approximately just before the halfway point of the game. I've probably played about 4 or 5 hours at this point, maybe a little less, maybe 3 hours. It's not an enormous game from what I can tell, but it is worth every penny I've paid, and I'm not just saying that because it's a friend. As you can see here, it's got a really psychedelic, odd art style. Frozen screenshots tend not to do this game justice because you really got to see it in motion and hear the music that go along with the game itself. Get an idea of how cool and psychedelic and odd it is. Here you see an example exactly that. The basic principle of the game, as you can see, is a little character. He looks a little bit like the Spy vs. Spy characters to me, that pointy nose. But that's your avatar. There's no real story to the game that I can tell, or I'm just not picking up on it. You're traveling through the body according to the worlds, and you see little world doors opening up there on the screen. And I am entering a world here, and as you'll see here, this is the first time I'm trying this world. It's near the end of what you would think of as World 3, and your main power in this game, as you're obviously spotting by now, is you can create blocks and you can destroy blocks, and it's a little bit like World of Goo. It's the first game that comes to mind for me when I look at this game. A super classic kind of physics puzzle game. If you have never played World of Goo, stop watching this video, go play it. It's an utter classic. It's a great design. It's got some of the best game designers in the indie so-called business around. So that's pretty much it. You can jump, you can destroy your own blocks, and you can make blocks, as you can see in this video. At the bottom you see a meter. That's your meter of how many blocks you're able to dispense at once. If you run out of yellow in the meter, which is currently disappeared, it disappears and reappears depending on when you're shooting. See, now the yellow is full there, but every time you shoot, you run down your meter. Now you can regain. Oh, I died. That pink Kool-Aid stuff is deadly to your little yellow character. It's just a rule in the game, no explanation. As you can see, I can make platforms for myself, and again, I'm running down that meter. And I just grabbed a sphere from the top of the screen there, and you saw it kind of go psychedelic. And let me know I did something good. See the little yellow sphere hovering just above my body currently? You can exit the level. I don't actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. You may see the exit on the far right. It looks like an ear canal, sort of, or a glowing like circle on the far right. That's the exit. Your main goal is to get to the exit. I'm not sure if you can leave the level without any spheres above you. You can always get 2. I haven't found any level that has more than 2 spheres. You see one at the bottom right, currently just above the water. That's the second sphere. My impression, I tend to think I'm right here, my impression is that getting the second sphere is kind of a bonus in each level, and getting the first sphere is usually relatively easy, like almost like you saw here. You could just jump and get it, and, there you go. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't know. Maybe you do have to get at least 1 sphere to exit. I'm not sure. But I kind of think, why would you want to play a game and not collect the items if you can? So far, sometimes the second sphere is very challenging, and sometimes not so much. Now, in this level, I've played a lot of the game already, like you've seen on the title screens. On this level, I already know something about it. The game doesn't go to great lengths to explain itself. It's one of those games you're sort of supposed to play around and figure out yourself. Green objects, like that giant green spherical object floating loose in the water currently, they destroy green barrier. So you see the green barrier on the far right. I have to destroy that. So I have to get that green sphere over to that green barrier. And I edited out a heck of a lot of video here where I try different techniques to do that, because although it looks really simple, like a great game, and I truly do think this is a great game. Again, this is not just bias. I could cite a couple websites that have given it high scores already. It's only been out a couple days. See for yourself. You know, you're going to see mostly one level in this video. You know, just to give you a taste, this is kind of a very challenging level also. It's near the end of World 3. So if you're put off by hard difficulty, I wouldn't say stay away from this game. Because most levels are much easier than this, and this is, as I said, further along in the game. You know, you work up to this difficulty level. World 1 is really a training level, like most games, most well-designed games, and then level 2 ramps it up significantly, especially if you're going for that second sphere, and then level 3 had a couple really challenging levels, and this is by far the hardest level I think I've faced yet. That's a death. As you can see, there's a lot of physics in this game. When I jumped on the green sphere, it bobbed under the water, and I was rewarded with death. At this point, you know, my loud voice notwithstanding over this great game, you probably noticed the music is just absolutely awesome. It's got a real, like, kind of chill wave, kind of synthy, I don't know what I'm talking about, you know, kind of groovy, I'll just say groovy kind of music that, you know, is on a loop, and a lot of times you're spending quite a bit of time in the levels, and the designer of the game really went to great lengths, I can tell, to like find kind of music you can loop and enjoy over a long period of time, and not get sick of it. At least I don't. You know, I know some people just put on, you know, their own music when they're playing games like this, and that's fine. I tend to listen to the game audio, even if I find it annoying. Play a lot of old games, and a lot of games with not the greatest audio. So something that's like really chill and cool and atmospheric like this is just bread and butter to me. I really think it's great. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. I'd probably mention it if I was going to do a review. It'd be one of the first things I'd mention. Now that I'm doing a review, I'm going to mention it. Check out the music. So there you see me dying, and I don't know if I'm going to commentate this whole video. It runs almost 20 minutes, and really what you're seeing now, it's worth noting, is me kind of experimenting, and that's the greatest part of it. This game, now that I'm pretty far into it, is that the game has a really, really intelligent level design that allows you to experiment and play, and you can tell there's different ways you might be able to finish a level. I mean, it might be minor, you know, you might in this scenario figure out like one or two different tricks. I mean, effectively you can see what you have to do. You have to clear the goal by getting the green sphere. The green orange is what I want to call it. Clearly that's a oxymoronic thing, but the green orange through the green barrier so you can exit. And in this stage, the second glowing sphere is just kind of a bonus. There's no way you're not going to grab that when you're exiting. So just exiting is the real challenge in this level, which is a little different than a lot of the levels I've played so far. But you can see me experimenting here, and it's like, again, it reminds me of World of Goo, and if you never played it, I apologize. But you end up playing, and that is the greatest thing about it. You're not even aware of how much time you're spending on some of these levels, because really, you're just having fun and messing around, kind of like in a unique world where you can play with the toys. You can see me playing with the rotating box here. I'm kind of trying to figure out, as you can tell, could I flick the green orange across the board? Could I throw it effectively? And I think you could. If I made a hook of some sort and got it in there just right, and then got the spring to load, kind of like got the red barrier under the water to like line up and spring out and grab it just right like a cup and throw it. But I also know that would probably take me a lot longer than I was willing to commit to this level. So I'm ending up trying more like a rotating, like catch, like a cup, like to scoop it. And then you'll see my plan here in a moment of what I'm going to try to do otherwise than that. So I was having a lot of fun just kind of banging the green orange around here, as you can see, but it wasn't going to do the job. So I think in a moment, yeah, here I cut the video to show you. I got this, as you can see, I really cut ahead to me getting to a solution. This is a lot of experimentation. As you can see, I finally managed to make a set of arms that could hold the orange and then dynamically like seal the green orange. So it's so fun to call it that. It's so funny. Green orange in. Now, look at me. Look how mad I am now. Jumping around. I was so pissed off. It didn't fail because once it fell in the water there, you can't make the red box rotate the opposite way. So now I jumped ahead the video again. It's a poor turn of phrase. I cut the video such that, again, poor turn of phrase, I edited the video in such a way to jump ahead and show now I'm trying to make a reinforced sort of bridge structure with multiple tiers, because there are physics to these blocks. So you know, as you can see here, my assumption I'm working under is, well, if I put a couple bridges for the green-orange to roll upon, well, the first one might bend, but the second one and the third one will hold it up. And I'm testing it there, but I can see there's a problem. It's going to flick. It's going to bend. So I might need to edit, so to speak, my bridges. And I think I'm just having fun here in the video. I'm just kind of like playing with the toy that I've made. You know, like, look at this. I made a... I think I was also wondering, could I somehow drop it on there and then it'll launch the green-orange? But then you get into kind of chaos situation where you're not sure if it's going to go where you want it to go. It might bounce back and fall in the water, or it might just roll it in inconvenient place and be stuck. You know, look at me being risky there, jumping. So, okay, let's see if I can get this out of here. I kind of forget what happens here. I'm nearly at the solution here. You know, I'm trying to create kind of a pinwheel, kind of a catching pinwheel that can catch my sphere, but it's not ready yet. Let's see if it goes around. Boing, more of that. See, now I've got it just about there. You can see it. You can push the orange. In earlier levels, you can use your anti-matter triangles, the ones that don't build things, that destroy little yellow triangles, to move, just simply move it around the board. I'm at a higher level, and so you can't just, and keep in mind, I have to be very careful when I'm doing that, because if I shoot an antimatter triangle into the mix when I'm pushing the green sphere, it'll destroy any of my red blocks. Now look at this. I've made a kind of a hook, throwing hook, we'll call it. I can see myself standing there thinking, like, is this gonna work? You do that a lot. You find yourself suddenly standing still. You're like, is this gonna work? And the design is really tight. Sometimes you're slippy though. If you're standing on certain surfaces, you have to be really careful. Your character can slip, especially on curved or sloped surfaces. So even though you have a button to like kind of lock yourself in place, there's several deaths I think I cut out of this video that like where I just slipped in the water because I was on the edge and I started shooting and then like I slipped down a slope, or there's some reaction to what I'm doing on screen and I fall on the pink slime. So here I'm just being extra cautious because I've been at this. What you didn't see is that I've been at this for about 45 minutes on this level, and granted, you know, I'm positive there are people out there who could solve this in 5 minutes, or even less, but I found it rather challenging. No apologies. I'm going to be extra careful. As you can see here, I'm making my little bridge just a little bit longer. I'm going to reinforce it there. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll put 2 or 3 bars on my bridge so that, like, no matter what, this guy's rolling across here now. This is the big moment of truth. I'm just like, I'm going for it. I'm testing it, being careful. It's almost there. And I can remember playing this. I was thinking, I think I'm pretty sure I got it now. Now, as long as I don't drop it here, you can see it's almost a little close. The bridges are acting a little squirrely. And I have to be really careful. You can be very precise. You can shoot one triangle, antimatter triangle at a time. But you don't want to mess up and fire too many. But I want to loosen up my my holding pattern here. I don't know what you call it. My bridge of red doohickeys. How about we call it that? And I'm here. I can feel it now. I'm there. Look at this. I'm so excited. I was totally pumped at this point. It's like I want to be very careful because I've been at this so long, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I knew that there's always that chance I can bounce it wrong, or I can shoot pressing the wrong button is actually a problem you have a lot in this game. If you press your antimatter button when you mean to shoot the matter because you've been working on it differently. There we go. There we go. And I'm out. And I'm out. Okay, so I finished this second to last world, and here I'm just going to go into the final world. So, spoiler alert, I mean, I'm doing this to convince you to buy the game. I've only showed you one level. Now this is the second thing you're seeing, second level you're seeing. Out of probably 20 I've finished, and there probably is about the same number to go, maybe more, especially if I 100% the game. I'm just letting you see a second level, you know, now that I've played through extensively, played through one level. So as you can see, this one is pretty hilarious. Look at all these green-orange spheres in this one. You can see that there's a sphere up in the ceiling. I got to break a barrier in the ceiling, and I just did it. You know, it's like this one is really fast. I edited this video in no way. I broke the barrier on one of my first tries. If you missed it, it was by tapping the white switch on the left, which causes those triggers that are under the water to bounce, launch anything touching them, which I did. If you saw, it kind of caused a cacophony. That's not right, it's a sound. A jubilee, perhaps, of green and oranges to bounce around and break the barrier. And now there's a sphere floating there. I'm being a little risky, but I can tell this level was like almost a bonus round. And I'm out. I'm already done. I'm celebrating, just being silly. And that's it. That's it. But there's so much more. This is Membrane. This is a game I'm loving a lot, and I highly encourage you to pick it up. I've finished the face. As you can see, there's a lot more to go. The brain's done, the ear is done, the face is done, and now we're heading into the throat.